And good morning, everyone. Just want to make hopefully a really quick video because I think I found something interesting about GameStop. And I just want to preface it by saying that, AMC, and this is all assuming that GameStop and AMC are correlated. I believe that they are. I believe they always have been. They just, they move in the same direction. They just, they jig jag or they chop in different ways. But, on AMC, AMC likes to follow, or I guess respect, 1 cent gaps on the 1 minute time frame. So, at this moment during the day, when this gap was created, it doesn't matter how far it went down because you should be thinking to yourself, okay, well, this is going to get filled at one point, either the next day or the end of the day or whatever. This is an important level to watch. It's the same level. Like, look at this. We got a 1 cent gap here at 769, and then 796, and I think that's it for the 1 cent gaps. Yeah, so just those gaps right now on the 1 minute time frame for AMC. As far as knowing when they'll get filled, I'm still trying to figure that out. My theory right now is that there are bull and bear phases. I did mention it uh, in my one video on liquid stocks, talking about Google or using Google as an example. Um, and I think Apple is a pretty good example too, but I'm not going to get too into that. So just keep in mind that how AMC respects 1 cent gaps, GameStop respects 1 cent gaps on the 5 minute time frame. So you can see here on the 5 minute we have a gap at 13.20. So I believe that that's going to get filled today. And to show that this gap was respected in the past, we had two gaps here, which basically was the excuse for GameStop making this 5% drop on last Thursday. Right, so it got it cleared these two gaps in one day, and then it created one up here. This is all just distributed movement, I mean, not necessarily distributive in the bear sense, but just, it's just moving liquidity around. It's the algorithm just doing its stuff, right? There's no, uh, GameStop's one of those things where I'm not even going to try to track the intra movements of it. I just I like to use these gaps as as marks. Like when AMC made that one gap at 7.84, I still have it marked, right? When it created it over here before the run. In my head, I was waiting for the day for that to get filled, and sure enough, it did. It took a little bit, but that's always the problem, right? Is trying to figure out how long it will take. And so what I ended up doing was to just, save everyone time here. I went back as far as I could, and I got all the 5 minute gaps that I could find, up to this period here. And this kind of goes back to the recent video I made, where this period of time represented that gap in the pre-January movement. And so, these are all the 5 minute gaps that we have from, 2 earnings ago from June till now. And you could see what's really interesting to me is that we have one at 16.76. So I'm thinking maybe the end of the current phase will probably just go to that level. I'm not. Maybe it's not. Yeah. So maybe it won't respect the daily gap as much as it will the 5 minute gap, and then it will maybe retrace. Hopefully, it comes down like this. And then earnings would hit right here. right? And then it could, and then that's where it would run. So yeah, just keep in mind. So 1 minute gaps, 1 cent gaps on the 1 minute time frame on AMC, and then 1 cent gaps on the 5 minute time frame for GameStop. If the gap is larger than 1 cent, it's not applicable to this concept. So if you find a gap on the 15-minute time frame, uh, like for instance here, we have one. So let me go back to this day, honestly. 10:16. So it's a 1 cent gap on the 5 minute time frame as well, and then there's one just below that. But I'm not, in this instance, you really shouldn't count that because, it like what's the point in marking that when there's one just above it? And this isn't even a 1 cent gap, right? So, or actually, yeah, it is, my bad. Yeah, so two 1 cent gaps here. Not too sure what to make of it, but yeah, so I mean, as you can see, it's just, I think because we're in a bull phase now, these gaps are going to get checked off, and it's looking really good. I'm hoping pre-market, all we really get here is just zigzag movement, because we want to get a reset on the RSI, and we can move up and fill this gap, and then hopefully get a 7% day to 14. At least that'll put my options in a good place. I might just, so we'll see. Microsoft news, really good this morning. The OpenAI CEO joined Microsoft. And I guess, that's the excuse for SPY, but, all this news is coming out during this period when it's just it's so interesting, So, yeah. Something to keep in mind. Alright, guys. See ya.